Hello guys, in this tutorial we are going to create a beautiful desert in Blender which is very simple and fun to make. So let's get started. So first let's press A and delete to delete everything, and now let's move our viewport so that we can see everything clearly. And now let's add in a camera and press Ctrl Alt and 0 to bring camera to view. Now let's add in a mesh and a plane and scale it all the way up so that it could cover the whole scene. And let's move it on the y-axis. Now go to edit mode and right click and hit subdivide and subdivide it 100 times. Now go to modifiers and add in a displace modifier. Now hit new and select this button to view the texture. And now from image to movie set that to clouds. And now tweak those settings to get the best results. Change the size to increase the noise size. Increase the depth for more detail. And now go to colors and decrease the contrast to decrease the height. Now right click and shade smooth. And now let's go to edit, preferences, and let's go to add-ons and let's search landscape and check this box for ant landscapes. And now go to mesh and add in a landscape. And now go to operator presets and set the preset to canyon. And now you can change the random seed value to get random result for canyons. So for now I'll set that to 5. Now let's move it on the y-axis and press R, Z and 90 degree to rotate on the 90 degree and press minus to rotate on negative 90 degree, and now press enter and now press S to scale all the way up and let's move it downwards. And now we have an infinite background for our render. Now let's add in some 3D models in our scene. And for 3D models, I always prefer Quixel Bridge. I'm not going to explain everything about Quixel Bridge. You can find a ton of tutorials on YouTube. So in this tutorial, I'm going to use this one and this one. So click this plus icon to export to Blender. And also you will find the link is in the description. And now back in Blender, I will scatter the 3D models all over the terrain so that they will look pretty good. Now let's add in some dry grass in our scene. So let's go to Quixel Bridge back again. And now I will add this river salt bush. So hit export. And now I will use particle system in Blender. So let's select this empty object and let's move it down from our scene so that it won't show in our frame. Now let's click this drop down and select all of these grasses and press M to move them to a separate collection. Now let's name this collection as dry bush. Now let's add in a particle system on our terrain. So hit plus and go to here and check advanced and go under render, set the render as to collection and set the instant collection to dry bush and let's scale them a little bit. And now go to edit mode. And now if you are not making an animation and you are just making a single frame, just select the vertices which will only appear in our camera frame. And then go to this object data properties and add in a vertex group and hit assign and name this vertex groups as dry bush and hit assign. Now go to particle system and under vertex group change the density, length and clump to dry bush. So let's add this yellow rabbit bush and I will repeat the same process for this one also. And now let's add in this grass clump. And now for this one, let's select our plane and go to edit mode. And now I will select different vertices for this one. So go to vertex group and let's hit plus. And now I will select only this portion and this portion of our terrain and hit assign and I will name it as grass and hit assign. Now let's add in another particle system and set that to here and change the render as to collection and let's create a different collection for our grass and set the instance collection to grass and let's increase the scale and set the vertex group to grass and let's see how our grass is spread on our terrain. So I think this is cool. And now let's add in some rocks. I will add this sandstone boulder. And now we have to randomize the rotation. So let's check advance and go to under rotation, check rotation and go to randomize and change it all the way up. Now change the randomize phase and change the phase so that every stone is now randomized. And now let's decrease the number to 50. And now let's see how it's looking. So go to render properties and change the render from EV to cycles. And now let's go to rendered view. And now we have to add some materials and lighting for our scene. Now, but first let's go to output properties and check render region. Now let's select our terrain and let's add in a material. So for material I will add this canyon rocky ground. So hit export and let's go to materials and let's add in this canyon rocky ground. And let's go to shading tab to view our materials. And now let's go to edit mode and let's press A to select all and go to UVs and smart UV project. And now our material is scaled evenly on our terrain. Now let's change the scale of our material. So I will set that to 0.3 and 0.3 also on the y-axis. And let's see how it's looking in the camera view. Okay, fine. Now let's increase the bump value of this terrain. So increase the strength. Okay, I think 1 is looking good. And for the normal value I will set that to 2. And now let's select our canyons and I'll add this canyon rocky ground for our canyon. And let's go to shading tab and let's add in a canyon rocky ground, this second one. And let's go to edit mode and press A to select all and UV and smart UV project and go to object mode. And now let's change the scale from 1 to 0.2 and 0.2 also on the y-axis. Now let's increase the normal map value to 2 and increase the bump value all the way to 1. And now let's see how it's looking. And now it's time for lighting. So let's add in some lights. So go to solid view and let's go to add in a light and we need a sun. And let's move it upwards. And now press R and Y to rotate on the y-axis. And first let's increase the strength to 5 so that we can have a better look at it. Now press R and Z to rotate on the z-axis. And now it is not compulsory that you should copy my workflow. You can do it on your own and tweak the lighting a little bit. Now I will set the angle to 30 for soft lighting. And now let's select our terrain and go to shading tab and let's add in a hue and saturation node. So unhide overlays and add in a hue saturation node right here, 0.53. Okay, 0.53 is good. Now let's see how it's looking. So now we have to add an background. So for the background I have given a link of an image is in the description, so you can download that. So I will add that, but first let's go to edit, preferences, and under add-ons search images as planes and check this add-ons and you can import images as planes. Now go to add images as planes. Okay, so now we have add our image. Now let's go to shading tab and now let's move it all the way back. And now let's go to shading tab and now you will see that our background is looking very dull because we need to add in an emission to our backdrop. So plug this color into the emission of our background and now you will see that it has enhanced our background. So let's add in this little boy in here. You will find the link is in the description of the image, so you can download that. So let's go to add image and images as planes. So now we have added our eagle in here. So now let's scale it all the way down and let's see if it is placed correctly. I'm using an image because using a 3D model of a bird is pretty performance intensive. Now let's go to rendered view and let's see how our scene is looking. Okay, so our scene is looking pretty good. Now let's go to render settings. Under color management I will go to look and I will change the look to medium high contrast, and now it is looking pretty good. And now press F12 to render. And that's it guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, hit that like button and consider subscribing for more great content, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.